Okay, I have been thinking about making a video on watches for a while now, and decided to do one tonight. So I'm going to run through a little bit about why I like watches, and hopefully give you a little bit of information about them you didn't know. So with regard to watches, you don't actually need a watch in this day and age. You've got a mobile phone, you've got clocks, electronic clocks all over the workplace, you've got clocks in your car, time in the car, you've got time everywhere. So you don't need it as such, but it's just something that's nice to have. Men these days tend not to wear a lot of jewellery. In fact, men have never really worn a lot of jewellery. And a watch is something that a lot of men like to own, and as like an accessory, and some as a status symbol, some as because they like wearing them as a bit of fun. So when you come to buying a watch, what you look for, there's generally four things. There's the aesthetics, so how the watch looks, what it looks like, and that's always of course different to different people. Everyone has different tastes, and luckily there's lots of different types of watches out there to suit all those different tastes. You look at the heritage, who made the watch, what's their background, when did they start making watches, where do they come from. Generally heritage these days, people regard the Swiss made watches as the number one. Not strictly true, but the Swiss do have lots of methods of classifying watches and giving them seals of approval and organising quality control. So the Swiss watches, the Swiss made watches, are held in high regard, but watches can be made of high quality from around the world. The construction side of it, we look at the construction, how the watch is made, what materials it's made of, and this sort of ties into the aesthetics part of it. But when it comes to the power behind the watches, the movement, then there's lots of differences in construction, and this is where the costs tend to go up. The more better constructed the movement, then the higher quality that is, and the higher cost that becomes. And talking of the movement, that's the last thing you look at. So when it comes to movements, you have three types. Generally there's more than three types, but you've generally got a quartz, which is battery powered, you've got mechanical, and then there's mechanical hand wind, and there's mechanical automatic. This particular watch here is a Bostock Russian made watch, and this is hand wind. So the movement is behind the case back here, sealed up airtight in there, and then you wind the watch, and once you've wound the watch, let's try and get that in focus. You should see there's the seconds hand moving around. So when that spring runs out, then the watch stops, so you have to wind it again. So generally you'd wind this every day, and this is a 1970s watch, 1972, and back then that was generally the norm. There was automatic watches as well, but this is generally the norm to hand wind a watch. The other one is quartz. Now this is actually a Swiss quartz, so it's a better type of quartz than you'd usually find. So you've got a battery back here, which you can see the cover for, and the battery excites a jewel. Not always a jewel, but in this case it's a jewel. This has got 4 jewels in it, and that jewel vibrates, and that vibration produces energy, and that energy is turned into movement. And then you've got mechanical, which is automatic, as you can see here. So you've got a rotor, and hopefully, let's try and focus that. You will see a spring. You can just see the spring there, just here, and that's basically controlling the energy, but controlling how the spring unwinds. So, and that energy produced from that gives you the movement. So that's the 3 types of watches. When it comes to construction, there is other types. There's kinetic, there's solar powered, there's all sorts. But anyway, when it comes to construction, generally we'll use the quartz one. You've got a bezel which is here, The bezel will have numbers on it associated with something, usually for diving or timing. And then you've got the dial, which is the white thing in there. You've got the hands, of course, which are all different types of hands. You've got the second hand, all different types of second hand, but they all do the same thing. You've got the case, which is the thing that seals the movement. This is the case here. Then you've got your bracelet and your buckle. And there's all different types of quality of bracelet and buckle. This one is not the highest quality, being a Swatch. Or they're saying that the Swatch Group own most companies these days, including Rolex. But it's a half decent bracelet. It's not a bad clasp, but so it's not the best you can get, but it's decent. And what else have you got? You've got the crown, which is this part here, which is used to wind or adjust the hands to adjust the time, like so. Some of these will be hacking, so that when you pull it out, the second hand will stop. You'll see this one doesn't stop. Some won't be. In this part, for some of them, you can wind up here. You can change the date as multiple operations. So now, as we've got a quartz, if we just look at that quartz movement, the red second hand, you'll see it tick, 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 which is again quite an abrupt sort of brash movement, dush, dush, as it goes around. And this is typical of a quartz watch. If you see a watch doing that, it's going to be quartz. So the movement is not really refined. However, you know, some people don't care about that. You know, I do actually. I'm interested in that part. If we look at this mechanical wound, see if we can get this second hand, you can see that's a lot smoother than the second hand as it goes around. Nice smooth action, there's no tick tick tick, which shows you that there's some mechanics behind it, smoothing it all out. And then if you look at this one, which is a more expensive watch, you'll see the second hand's very smooth and sort of glides around the watch, which again, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, it's a bit nerdy, isn't it? You know, you either quite like that and you're quite proud of that, or you're not. But I happen to quite like that, and if you know, when I buy a watch, I want the second hand to be of a smooth sweep. So with regard to the construction side of it, you can see that this one's quite different than the Swatch one. You've got a different style of bracelet, you've got a different style of case. You can see the crown's got Oris written on it, so that's signed, signature crown. The quality of the bracelet is a lot higher, it's a lot thicker. And you can see here the buckle action, and the buckle mechanism is not nicer. This one here, you push these two here to open. You know, it's just a better quality watch, it feels better. You've got on the dial, it's carbon fibre. You've got date complication, which adds more to the mechanics here. The more complications you have on a watch, the more complicated the mechanical part becomes. And again, this one to me is, you know, it's a nice sports watch. It's smart. You can wear it with a suit. You could wear it, you know, to the gym. It's a nice thing to look at, and it's a nice thing to wear. And it's got substantial weight to it as well. It's the sort of thing you can't get across on a video, but there's substantial weight to this. This particular watch is more of a dress watch. It's something you'd wear with a shirt and a tie or a shirt. Something when you're dressing up smarter. But you can see the dial on this one is you know, it reflects the light very nice colour, different, unusual. And being old, you know, this is something that interests me because it's older. You know, it's seen a few years. 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010 years, and it's 40 odd years old, this one, nearly 50 years old. And it still looks good today, good design. Plus, as it's Russian, you know, it's nice to have a Russian watch. So with regard to, you know, other differences in watches, you've got, you know, we can talk about the crystal. So the crystal is what covers the dial, seals it, protects it, and this one is a polymer. It's like a plastic crystal. This one is a polymer plastic crystal, and this one is glass crystal. And again, you get different types of glass. You get sapphire glass, which is scratch resistant. You've got Hardex, you've got normal glass, and it's the same with the case back. It's nice to have sapphire, at least sapphire glass, because it prevents it being scratched. Plus, you can get coatings on it to aid the clarity of viewing, when you're looking at the watch. So even the glass bit it gets a bit complicated, and the more money you spend, the better quality you get. So yeah, we've covered basic. I don't want to go too far in this particular video, so we've covered the main types of watches. The thing to look for is quality overall. The movement to me is interesting, and how complicated that movement is, and how renowned that movement is. Some are extremely reliable, but movements can be extremely reliable and not expensive as well. A lot of the Seiko watches have great movements in. And that's it. And I think in the next little video I do, we'll look at different types of mechanical movements and the parts inside the watch. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.